I'm gonna go ahead and we just jumped in. So we in the green room, the boom boom room, behind the
Backstage.
scenes. So yeah, before Facebook try to kick us off, we just want to make sure that we go live because they will kick you off. So just want to jump in real quick and get yourself together if you need to. Anything else, we hear y'all. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you're feeling good, feeling great because it's another beautiful day. Look, it's always a beautiful day if you're able to be alive. So just keep that in mind. Understand that, man. We miss our great legend, Kobe Bryant. Rest in power and peace. But always, that's a reminder of why you're here. Make a difference. Within yourself, make a difference within the world, man. Life is so short. So while we're here, while you're able to get up every single day and be alive, do something to make a difference or make an impact in somebody's life.
Sure.
Without further ado, I'm gonna let Stan take it away. We here today,
Super
y'all,
excited. Heck
bringing
yes,
that good
super
energy.
excited.
Let's
Always,
go.
always, 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 every day above ground is a great day. So officially, y'all, welcome to Game Beyond the Game presents Talk That Talk, inspiring conversations with professional and elite athletes, where we inspire our audience to explore finding vision and purpose in life and discuss tools to overcome life's transitions. My name is Stan Pearson, Secretary MC, joined by founder Prince Daniels Jr. Officially, Prince, how you feeling today?
Man, I always said feeling good, feeling great, feeling great.
Cool. And folks, we don't mess around here. We only bring the best of the best, and today is no different. We have a footballer, not that stupid American football. Just joking. We have just a different footballer. Officially, we have Amobi Okugo, who is a professional soccer player and the founder of the financial literacy company, A Frugal Athlete. I love it. He was drafted after his freshman year at UCLA, okay, overachiever, into Major League Soccer as a part of the 2010 Generation Adidas Class. He has amassed over 200 appearances in all competitions professionally and has been honored to represent the United States national program at various youth levels, including the 2012 Olympic squad. Amobi was born in Hayward, California, to Nigerian immigrants and is the oldest of 4 siblings. He holds a master's in sports law in addition to a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership and development with a minor in business administration. There you go again, overachieving. And I love it. I said it. I love it. Besides sports, other interests include business, entrepreneurship, and marketing. Please, wherever you are, clap your hands, somebody for Mr. Amobi Okugo. Amobi, how you feeling?
Nah, that's the best intro I've ever had. Yo, respect. Nah, thank you so much. I'm doing well.
Appreciate that, man. Glad.
This is high level,
Hey, very much so, bro. Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate that. So you're in Austin. We talked about that kind of pre-show a little bit. How do you like Austin? Then we'll kind of work our way back to California and before Cali's your parents being from Nigeria. So tell us about Austin.
Yeah, Austin's great. Austin's a great city. The people are very welcoming, unless you tell them you're from California, because then they're telling you there's too many of you. But it's a great place because it reminds me of home. There's a lot of things that you can do outdoors. Hiking, picnics, like trails, good scenery with the river and the lake, and different things like that. A good food scene. It's like the food truck capital of the states. It's a good little diversity. Always could be more, but so far Austin's good. You got a good young crowd, got a good group of go-getters. And what I really like about Austin is the collaboration aspect of it. So if I know someone that could put somebody on, or someone knows somebody that can like connect with me, people are more than willing to do that in Austin. Whereas in other cities and states, as you guys know, it's almost like you're in your own bubble, whereas Austin is a little bit more expansive.
Heck yeah. Love that. So from before Austin, you were in California. You mentioned born in Hayward, California. So is California home before then?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in California, born in Hayward, but raised in Sacramento. And Sacramento was out where I grew up, grew up playing soccer and basketball until soccer kind of took over, or as you stated, football. The real football.
Real football. Hey.
I didn't want any controversy. I just,
And then, very early on, I just traveled quite a bit, for sports. So I moved to Florida when I was 14 to join the residency program for the U17 youth national team.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I just exploded on the soccer scene and traveled all over the world. Then came back to Sacramento to finish my senior year, then went to UCLA. And then once I got drafted, I've been all over Philadelphia, Orlando, Kansas City, Portland, and then now Austin.
Nice,
love
man.
it.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of 4. So I got my immediate younger brother, Akachi. He currently works for the Sacramento Kings as a player development trainer and coach. My younger sister, Aguna, she's back in Sacramento working in finance in the financial sector. And then my youngest brother, he's out there kind of close to you guys in San Diego. He goes to SDSU.
Awesome. I got to say that the family is really, really underachieving. They should really do more with their lives. I'm really not feeling the vibes of all the, no, I'm just kidding. No, amazing. It's always great to hear, just family shining and living in their light. Love to see that.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So growing up in your household, I know with the background that everybody has that you just named, I know your parents had to be like, education first. Your books. You need to be on your books. Huh? I don't care about sports. I don't care about anything else but your books. Huh?
Yeah. So that was a big thing for my family. Obviously, as you know, my parents were first generation. I was first generation. They were immigrants, and they were all about education. You only got 3 career paths as a young Nigerian: doctor, lawyer, or engineer. So essentially, sports was just supposed to be a vehicle to go to college. Get a scholarship. But then I just kept progressing, and by the grace of God, and just the opportunity that presented itself, I eventually was able to go professional. I was actually supposed to go pro out of high school, and they were like, "No way!
Yeah,
we didn't come to this country for you to be a high school dropout." So then I did college, and then after my freshman year, I had a great season. We had a great team, and they were like, "So why would you even go to college if you're gonna go pro? You have to at least." But the way the contract worked out, it allowed me to continue school. And everything is history. So they're happy. As Nigerian parents, there's a thing called like negative encouragement. And it's just because it's like, they just want to play it safe just because they sacrifice so much. They want the best for their kids.
Correct.
But then once you accomplish those things that,
Yes.
I always knew you could do it.
I knew it.
We did it.
My son.
Exactly. We did it.
Yeah, today we did it.
Yeah. But it's all out of love. So it's all out of love. And without them, I wouldn't have been able to do what I've been able to do.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think it's important. You mentioned kind of where it's coming from. Whether it's the safety, the love, just wanting the right thing to happen for you. I have to say, you mentioned early on you were playing basketball, and then you began to quickly excel at soccer. Let us know what that was like, how difficult that was, because some people say when you see someone elite, young. Yeah. Like when they're little, you're like, oh no, they're special. You're a 3-year-old and they're crushing it already. So how did you know? When did you know, oh yeah, I'm special at this? And what was it like transitioning all those times?
It's funny because, a lot of parents and, people, when we used to play at these youth tournaments, would come up to my parents after the game. I was like, make sure you keep him in the sport. He's going to go far. Make sure you look out for him. He's going to go pro, or you guys are lucky. You guys are going to have any college he wants to go to. And my parents, because we didn't leave it, they're just playing to stay out of trouble and build relationships and, build life skills. And they were just like, okay, well, whatever. But it wasn't really until I started getting youth national team camp invites and going that invite to residency and getting exposed to the IMG Academy and, being able to play with the top 40 youth kids at the time, all over the world. That's when it was like, oh, okay, so this is serious. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of okay, this is a possibility. There's actually a pathway to possibly not only going to any school that I would be fortunate enough to go to, but, going to the professional ranks and establishing a career that way.
Nice, man. Nice.
What was the most difficult part of that transition? Again, we're talking from a youth age, obviously in high school, and then you saw some different kinds of competition, especially, at those elite levels. Like mentally or physically, was there something there where you just like, this is difficult, or made it a little more difficult for you to shine?
I think for me and like for any kid at that age, it's the mental and social aspect, because usually, at least, from the standpoint of sports at a youth level or a high school level, it's like you're the star of the town in high school. So like you can go to the social outings, or you can, be the most popular kid in school. But I had to move all the way to Florida, away from home, and grind. It wasn't about, the accolades or, being like high school player of the year or getting the Letterman jackets. We were competing for a U17 World Cup. So we were essentially pros. My dad always jokes, he was like, you were a pro before you actually even went pro. Because like our schedule, it was basically 6 o'clock wake up, workout.
Wow.
7 o'clock or 7:30 breakfast. After that, we go to soccer practice. From there, we rush over to lunch, get ready. Then we got school 12 to 5. And it was that Monday to Friday. Then we either compete, like have games on the weekend, or we'll be doing, we'll be overseas, like France. Like my first week I got there, I had to go to Argentina for a month. So whereas in high school, I'll go to like the high school football games on Friday, kick back on Saturday, and then like, play my games when we have to play the games and show out. And it's like, you're getting all the accolades, girls like you, you're popular amongst your friends. So it's like, that's like the social high school scene where it's like, no, this guy's trying to take your spot because he knows you're going to start next game, or, you're not going to be able to see your family for like months at a time because you got to grind for the next tournament and different things like that. And
as a teenager.
So that was it was a rude awakening, but it was a blessing in disguise. It made me mature and made me ready for, all the things that I'm going through right now.
Man, that's so beautiful. Look, how was it not being able to see your family? Did you have any were you homesick? Did you feel, were you missing them? Because I know at a young age for me, when I was growing up, my father, he would be at the games, and just that support group being there allowed for me to play at my best. And then I have my dad. My dad is from Ghana, so he was in the crowds just yelling, "That's my son! That's my son!" And so I would feed off of that, because that played a pivotal point and an impactful point in my life. And so, how was it not having your parents there?
Yeah, it was tough. And this was before we could just pick up our phone and do FaceTime and all that stuff. So, they did a good job of making sure we saw our parents like every 3 months. And then we had some summers where we'd be from home. So we'd have to travel, on a week to week, like once every month to do the camp. So our home base would be at home over the summer months. Yeah. But home cooking, you mentioned being from Ghana, I'm Nigerian. So being able to have the rice and stew, the plantain, the jollof rice, the fufu,
your fufu
soup, like having like
soup.
Yeah, cafeteria food on a week-to-week basis.
I don't want no chilies. I want mama.
Exactly. But
awesome.
It was good. It was good. I think the biggest thing was like, because me and my family have a really close relationship. My parents, my siblings. So being as the brother, I was like, it's almost like the older brother that's like way older. But I wasn't really way older. It's just I had to grow up a little bit quicker. So
right. That's
you
awesome.
had these worldly experiences.
Yeah.
As a teen, I guess speaking of that, what I will ask, because there's some other, obviously, it seems like the AAU scene is blowing up across youth sports, but not always the best influences. So, sometimes I wish families would be more supportive and loving.
Right.
So let's say for that kid who does not have that kind of loving support, what advice would you give a young person that's in these leagues? And then the follow-up question is, what advice would you give you if you ran into you at 14 years old?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say for the young kid, make sure you have fun. I mean, obviously, as these youth circuits continue to develop and explode, everyone's trying to be like a pro now. Like, that's impossible. People develop at different times. Like you could be like the fastest guy when you're younger because you develop faster. But then by the time you're 17, 18, they're going to be like, oh, what happened to him? It's not anything that happened to him. It's just everyone caught up to him from a development standpoint in terms of their physicality. Mm-hmm. So have fun. That's first and foremost. Don't feel like it's a job, because eventually it will, ultimately, if you reach your goals, it will be a job. And that's the point where, you know, you're trying to take someone's food off the table because they're trying to take yours. It's survival of the fittest. But while you're young, enjoy the game, develop your skills, and give yourself the best opportunity to succeed. So, you know, take it serious, but, you know, make sure you're having fun. You don't want it to feel like a task. That would be like the biggest thing I tell like a young guy, because when you're having fun, you actually play better. Yes. When you're stress free and you're not worried about, I had to get 20 points because, you know, this scout's here. Like, no, I got to make sure that my shot is good. I got to make sure that I'm developing my skills. I got to make sure I'm like having fun on the team that I'm having, because you will have a better performance. And then what I would tell myself, that's a good one. I would just say, how can I say? I would say, just because the coach thinks of your skill set a certain way doesn't mean you have to like agree with them. I think a lot of times, like, coaches, sometimes they're experienced, sometimes they're not, but they'll put their projections on you. I remember in basketball, this one coach, I wasn't Steph Curry with the shot, but every time I shot from the outside, you're like, oh, that's not your shot. That's not your shot. There was one time I made the shot, I looked at him, I'm like, oh, good shot. So, like, you always have to, you know, take criticism, but don't take it as like the end all be all. Use it to adjust some things that you may need to work on, but also, you know, have confidence in your abilities to double down on your skill sets and to try new things.
Man, that's incredible. Look, so how do you give a younger person advice on maintaining their mentality, their mindset? Because when you're this far away, you don't have your support system, you don't have that foundation. Like, what's going on in your brain? Like, how do you find some equilibrium, some type of balance, so that your emotions are not over here, your emotions are not over there? Because you have grown men that are not your family, and sometimes they're not really there to help you. So, like, what advice would you give someone when it comes to maintaining a sense of peace?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I would say the biggest thing for me is, and obviously for someone that's that young, it's tough to conceptualize, but you kind of have to have like your own playbook or your own code or your own, like, your commandments. You know, obviously, depending on if you're religious or not, or spiritual, you know, that's neither here nor there, but, you know, the 10 commandments. So what would be your own 10 commandments of how you live and how you go about your day to day? So that's one. And then two, I would say set up a routine. So if you want to do your devotional or write in your journal or meditate or, you know, just rest or work out, whatever your routine is, stick to that, because routines help guide you. And as humans, we like to be guided in the sense of our having structure, because it creates stability, and stability creates, comfort, and comfort creates like production and all that. So those are the two things, you know, have like your own code. Like, what are your values? What is your mission? What is your, you know, what things that happen on a day to day that you're like, all right, that fits my code, or that doesn't. So I'm not going to align with what they're talking about or what they're doing. And then from there, have like a routine within that. So for me, that's my devotional and my journal every morning, or at least try to stay as consistent with that. So like this morning, I dropped the ball. I haven't done it yet. So,
Nobody's perfect. It's all right.
That was a great answer. That was a great answer, man. Great answer.
It's important to, like, because people will project like, oh, I do this. I make my bed every morning, and then you come to that, like, your bed's not good.
You've been lying.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Like, I try to be as consistent as possible, but sometimes it's just, you know.
Yeah, life is what it is. I'm going to make, two quick statements, reminders that you mentioned, and then we're going to kind of switch lanes a little bit. Number one, you mentioned, again, the projections. I thought that was interesting from a sports standpoint. Like, yo, that's not your shot. And now thinking back, the number of times that athletes will hear some version of that. It literally took me back to high school football practice. In the other sports, like, wait a minute, dude, like but your ability in giving that advice, like, double down on your ability and then make it what you want it to be. I think that's really powerful, especially for young athletes to listen to. There are a lot of folks that may not, again, however their coaching prowess may be, may never achieve at the level that you will achieve, telling you who you are, who you're going to be.
Exactly.
That was powerful. Thank you for mentioning that. And then you that short memory that you mentioned a moment ago about having fun. You mentioned having fun. And part of me, I'm sorry, you said having fun, but what I guess I drew from that, whether it's a bad shot or something else, that short memory allows you to continue to have fun, because as you said, when you're having fun, you play better.
Yeah.
So that becomes a switch off. And again, watching elite players, pros, like yourself, and obviously Prince, is like, whoa, if you're able to shake off that last whatever, then you can get back to the fun, hence leading to achieving at the highest level. So I deduced that all that. Thank you for making that statement. It kind of took me down this rabbit hole in my thoughts as to how people achieve at the highest levels.
Yeah, when you have fun, you're not trying.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to understand when he says that. When you're having fun, you're not trying, because you're not thinking about, oh, I have to do this right, I have to do that right, I have to get around this person, I have to make sure that I'm dribbling the ball correctly, right? Or if it's in the case of basketball, I have to make sure that somebody doesn't steal a ball, or that's not my shooting range, right? So I have to get closer. No, it's just about having a good time, because when you're having a good time, you're playing at your optimal level, and you're not concerned, like your brain is not filled with your thoughts like, okay, I think about doing this and then do it. When you're having fun, it's just like, oh, I did that, let's go. Go. And that is how you play at a very high level.
No, to touch on that, you bring up a great point. Like, if you see the best athletes, they're like smiling or like joking, like, doing things, and it gives them more confidence to try stuff. And then when you talked about short term, I think that's a great point, because as an athlete, you have to think about the bigger picture. Like, you're playing basketball with the greatest athletes. Like, okay, you missed a shot, but you're playing basketball. At the end of the day, it's not like a life or death situation. Right. So you don't have to think like, oh, I missed a shot, I can't shoot again. It's like, no. All right, I missed that one, but I'm going to adjust on this next shot, or I missed the place this pass. There's so many interactions within a game. You're always going to get another chance. So don't think so short term, and have fun with it, like you said. So that's a great point.
Powerful. It's interesting. Again, you mentioned Curry earlier, but I think that's he has so much fun. I think it frustrates other people, or you see people who are
as a fan, I hate watching him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what are you talking, man?
Hey, he be on the bench just laughing, having a good time. Like usually you would get in trouble, but this guy, he can hit a three from anywhere. So they just like, that's him, but that's what I really love about that. Just being able to have fun and be yourself, because it doesn't dictate how you play on the court. He's gonna be Steph Curry no matter what. So if he's gonna laugh and joke with his teammates, he can do that, and then get back on the court and he'll just knock a three down. Like, what can you say? He just won the game. So let him be
miss
him.
A shot, turn the ball. It's literally like, oh, one clap, and it's like, like it's like, I'm back. I'm back. It's really interesting when you look at it through those lenses. Like, what's happening? What is? So again, your question, your statement sparked all of that. To quickly shift gears just a little bit, let's talk about some money. I happen to understand this part of your forte. A frugal athlete.
Hey,
how is that born? What inspired that?
The African parents, eh?
It's a combination of things, my African parents, my Nigerian Igbo roots. There's like jokes like Igbos, they're just like, they like money.
They like money.
They enjoy money, chop money, But realistically, for me, it was watching the 30 for 30 Broke documentary on ESPN. That kind of changed my whole perspective. I've always been interested in like business, entrepreneurship, like money, personal finance, how people make money, how people like leverage money. But that 30 for 30 kind of changed my whole landscape, because these were athletes of the highest caliber in terms of compensation. NBA, NFL, MLB, coming into unfortunate financial situations for a plethora of reasons, spending habits, emotional blackmail, bad investments, bad financial advisors, not knowing the right questions to ask, lack of financial literacy. I mean, the problems go on and on. So for me, it was kind of like, all right, yeah, we heard about the unfortunate stories, but where are some athletes I can use as examples, as roadmaps? So as I did some research, finding athletes like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Tom Brady, Serena Williams. And I was like, yeah, those are athletes, but those are also anomalies. Like, ain't nobody really going to be them. So I was like, let me do some more research. And I couldn't find like athletes that I could use as personal roadmaps that were like tangible in my situation. Like I was a professional athlete making good money, but it wasn't going to be life-changing in the sense of like, I can retire and not have to work for the rest of my life. So that's kind of Frugal Athlete started. A lot of my teammates used to call me cheap. So it was basically like making a spin on that terminology. And frugal is all about how you can be efficient, not only with the money that you have, but the resources that you have at your disposal, and not only for your career, but long after your career is over.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I love it. I love what you're doing, how you turn something negative into a positive, and now you're teaching, the youth about it. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened when you received like your first paycheck or your first few paychecks, when you started getting paid, when you start realizing like, I got money, baby, I got money.
Yeah, it's some money.
It's crazy because it's like, what do you do with it? Obviously, so our family, like long before I was born, apparently, I don't know if my parents just made it a tradition. You had to help the family out with some certain things. So some of my money, I swear, no joke. They say, all right, it's first paycheck.
This belongs to us.
Yeah,
How do you think that you got here? We made you. We created you. Huh? You have to pay your dues first.
So a portion of my first paycheck went to that, but my signing bonus, it was a fairly large amount, and we put it into a CD, so a certificate of deposit. And basically, it allows you to get a better interest rate, nothing really crazy, and allows you to like have your money without touching it. And that was essentially, in hindsight, I would have done something very different in terms of like using with my signing bonus, but it was a good lesson for me to, all right, let me figure out how this first year goes in terms of like day-to-day expenses, things that I'm going to have to do, things that I want to do, and live like that. And then once I, establish, like get my footing, all right, now I'm going to establish like how I'm going to invest, how I'm going to throw money around, how I'm going to let my money work for itself. So that's what I did, put my money in a CD. And me and my dad always joke around like, if we would have put it in this, if we would have had done this, you would be good right now. And it's like, but at the same time, those investments that could have gone belly up. So it was good to like just have that first year to like just really focus in on, all right, this is what your budget's going to be. These are the opportunities that are coming. These are some expenses that you got to look out for, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm. Did you check your money constantly? Like did you check your bank account constantly? What was your relationship with the money? What was it shy? Was it like, I don't want to check my account because the money might run out? Because there are a lot of athletes that I've seen. They'll be like, man, I haven't checked my bank account in 2 weeks. I'm like, what is going on? It's just like, I know I'm good, but when they check their bank account, they're not that good.
No, yeah, I would say it's important to check. I would say 2-3 times a week, because just some things that you pay for with your card, you make sure they like. Sometimes they surcharge. It's like, wait, hold up, I didn't pay. So it's always important to make sure whether you have a financial app or you use like pen and paper. I would say it's to check your accounts 2 to 3 times a week. But for me, my relationship with money was pretty good. I was always like on top of it. I made sure I had a set amount in my checking, so I wouldn't like. Obviously, if you have quite a bit of money and that, you're going to be like, all right, I'll worry about it, and then you just swipe recklessly. So I kept a certain amount within my checking, so I'd have to force myself to budget. Had my savings and different things like that, my emergency fund just in case. Knock on wood, the worst possible happens. You always have to prepare for that. And then with the money in the CD, I couldn't even touch it for a whole year. So it was good to be like, even if I had the money, I can't, hide it from yourself so you don't spend it. So that was kind of it, at least for that first year.
That's really good discipline, man. That's really good discipline.
Super good. Forced discipline in some instances.
Yeah, sometimes you have to force it,
Heck yeah. So I got to ask, being the frugal athlete, mentioning the CD, are you a crypto guy? Are you into stocks? What's your vibe on that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, that's a great question. My rule of thumb is if I can't explain it to somebody else, then I shouldn't be getting into it. So at the moment, I don't really know crypto well enough to explain it to somebody else, but I am learning. I am learning because this space is, taking the world by storm. And the more I learn about it, the more I understand why it's a viable opportunity. Obviously, this is my disclaimer. Make sure you consult with your financial team and whatever you need to do before you make any sort of investment. But for me, crypto is probably one of the new spaces that I'm going to be looking into getting into. I'm into stocks already. I'm into a little bit of real estate and different other platforms like that. But crypto is still for me, crypto is like the final level, like browser. And I'm trying to figure out how to go around it.
Heck yeah, I feel that. And randomly, I guess I asked you, mentioning stocks. What's your vibe on AMC? Have you heard in the whispers about the AMC? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Dude.
Hey man, hey Stan, don't be Martha Stewart, man.
No. Just word on the street. There's some words on the street. We wouldn't get in trouble.
AMC. Yeah, that's definitely. If you look at the stock over the last years, it's been quite interesting. But I'm more of like a blue chip, value investor.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I like my dividend paying stocks as well. So that's a great thing about, when it comes to personal finance, money management, investing. There's so many different ways to the top of the mountain. It's just all about figuring out the best roadmap for you.
Oh,
love that.
Hey, you said that your younger brother was the accountant for the Sacramento Kings, correct?
Oh no, so he's the personal trainer. He's like personal development coach.
Your sister works in accounting and numbers, right?
She works in accounting and numbers. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for correcting me.
No,
do you work with her when it comes to your foundation, the Frugal Athlete, or just do you guys have a conversation about money?
Yeah, so we have a family group chat where we we'll talk it's almost like our own mini family office instead without the family office aspect of it, but we talk about different stocks. But at some point, in the near future, we're gonna create our own Okugo fund where we everyone invests on a monthly basis, and then probably my dad or my youngest brother, he has his pulse on a lot of different stocks, and then they'll manage it. But I have my own individual stuff, my sister, my brothers, so we all do our own thing. But that's a great point.
When your powers combined, you Okugo,
financial Avengers, love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm in that crypto space, man. I love it.
So I'm gonna have to tap in with y'all.
A little bit, learning along. It's funny because it's finally something that it's challenging because it's steadily changing and knowing kind of what people do, what you should do. So it's been really interesting. And again, it's some things are so low. Let's say for those who are beginning and learning, there's some things so low. So if it's, hey, take your $10 and put in the one that's 0.00001, then watch it, learn about it. I mean, along the way. This is what happens. But yeah, crypto's a good space to kind of, like you said, it's especially if you already have knowledge base, it's kind of learn, along the way. If nothing else, for learners, I think it's really cool to just challenge the mind space of something that's kind of steadily changing and evolving. So it's great to stay sharp. I'm sure you appreciate it once you jump in.
My small bit of advice would just be actually just jump in, because it moves at such a rapid pace. It's hard for you to sit down and try to analyze it like the stock market, right? So by the time you try to read a book upon it, you'll realize that you can start on a lot of deals, right? Yeah. So, people they set up appointments with me to teach them about crypto, and they're like, "Do you have a book that you can recommend?" I'm just like, "A book, yeah. Book, but put some money down and get involved, because." Because the one thing that you have to understand about crypto is once you buy those tokens, those coins, you own them, and so they don't go anywhere. The value may go down, but it can always go up. What goes down must come up, and so the beautiful thing about it is understanding what your stable coins are and what's going to be around for a very long time, and then also understanding about altcoins, which you don't definitely want to put all your money into that. That's a gamble, but at the same time, there's high yield in that, whenever you invest in it. So I just learned about it in January, and a lot of people tell me that I wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even know because I explained it so well. It's just I just jumped in right away. One of my friends, he called me and he told me, "Hey man, this is what I got going on." I was just like, "Okay." I was just like, "What I need to do?" And he was just like, "Well, I was just like, I got about $200 I'm gonna put, and I just threw it in." And then that 200 turned into, like $5,000, and then $5,000 from there, and so forth. And so, yeah.
I'll just say this: I wanted to feel rich a couple weeks ago. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I wanted to feel rich. I wanted to feel like I was balling out. So I bought 4 million shares of Shibu. I think it was 4 million shares. Yeah, I would slap people. I started throwing pennies on people. Cost me $70. But it was like something to learn to watch over time. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna miss this $70. But I'm like, yo, if this turns into $1, woo, who knows? Yeah. But it's funny and it's just cool to learn. And as a learner, the learner that you are, I'm sure that whenever you decide to, check it out, you'll appreciate it for sure.
Right.
For sure. Yo, man, how can more people learn about A Frugal Athlete? How can they learn more about you? Where can they find you?
Thanks for that. So if you check me out at www.afrugalathlete.com, everything A Frugal Athlete there. We have a YouTube channel. We have Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, podcast. Personally, at Amobi Says on all platforms, Twitter, IG, TikTok, whatever, and then www.amobiokugo.com. My contact information is on both those platforms, so make sure you check it out. And I'm always, happy to connect with people.
Is that A Frugal Athlete? Is that right.com?
Yep.
Hold on. And you said you got your own website?
Yeah, my own personal website.
Oh man, look at him!
Because I do some other things too. I don't, it's not strictly just A Frugal Athlete. So just trying to have like that whole ecosystem, and hopefully can build it out. So yeah, be on the lookout. 2021 is going to be a good year.
Ooh, he talking his stuff, Sway. He talking his stuff, Sway. Look at him. Like, I love it, man. I love the confidence. I love it, man. I love the air.
Absolutely. Any final words or thoughts from you, Prince?
Yeah, my final words and thoughts are my last question to you. What do you want your legacy to look like after it's all said and done?
That's a great question.
Yeah, well, how do you want people to remember you?
I mean, there's only two ways that you can be remembered, an example or a warning. So I would like to be remembered as an example, so if I can leave people with the impact of, Amobi was, a connector. He always made sure that, he tried to put people on whatever their pathways was, whether it's connecting someone with someone else or go a brand or, just putting them on some game. That's kind of what I'm about. And hopefully I can build a legacy that fits that mantra.
Look, man, I saw Stan writing down what you just said. He was just like,
yeah, I know he's gonna be able to spin that with his voice. He's gonna be able to spin that. I'm gonna see that on like a motivational like video on Instagram someday.
Just know it. Just know I'm a voice, but you'll be in the footage though. I will make sure to pay homage. I promise,
bro.
Let's set that up. Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you both of you offline because his voice is amazing.
Right. He sound like Billy D. Williams. Hey, ladies, how y'all doing? Hey, today we're here with Amobi Okugo. This guy, he's frugal, but he does not act like it. Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is awesome.
Yeah. I love that. We're gonna say cheap is not the same thing as frugal because cheap is ugly. Frugal is forever.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, look, I always correct my wife. She'd be like, "Yeah, it's cheap." I'd be like, "Frugal," and she'd be like, I'm just like, "Hey, I'm just telling you, words are important. Words are very important. The ones that you use." So,
heck yeah, appreciate that. Yo, Amobi, any final words you want to leave with people?
All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. That's a quote that my dad has told me from since I was very little. I used to think it was his quote, so I used to like quote him, but I found out it was from someone. His book is like someone that I'm not sure who the book.
Yeah,
was,
we can't even remember it. We can't remember the name. It's your dad still.
Yeah, so it's my dad's now. Exactly, that's my dad. But it was from a book, but he coined it and kind of put his own spin on it. So that's my go-to quote for everyone.
And that's all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough.
Ooh, man.
Love it.
And hold on, all
Mr. Okugo.
all you can do is enough. Look,
Quoted by
said,
Mr.
thank
Okugo.
you. Love your website. Okay, You Go Foundation. Wow. Oh, I'm pretty sure they probably try to put your name in, and it didn't come out the exact same way. It had spaces like "Okay, You Go." So
that's perfect. That's how I did it intentionally.
Okay, you go.
Yeah.
Hey, God dug it. Appreciate you, Regina. Thank you very much.
I see your mind. I see what you're thinking.
I feel like this entire time we've all just been thinking about like the next level. Like our minds been anyway. Like me on the Matrix. Heck yeah. Man, can't say thank you so very much. Well, we appreciate you for being here, and everybody for joining us. And again, thank you for sharing your story and being transparent. And for those of y'all watching, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Prince Daniels Jr. YouTube page, and you can join us. Make sure you catch up on past episodes that generally run at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. Prince, anything from you?
Yeah, the last thing I just want to say, everybody that's watching and tuning in, we are ending the season after this episode. So next week will probably be our last episode, but we want to let you know that we will be back with a vengeance, and we'll be back with so much more incredible athletes. And we probably definitely want to bring back Amobi, man, because man, you're doing some incredible things, man. We appreciate your energy, your knowledge, your wisdom, man, because it's just crucial. With every individual that looks like you and they want to grow up and be like you, you give some very insightful advice, man, and informative, so they will be able to navigate themselves throughout this cruel world, right? Mm-hmm. So, but thank you for your presence, man. It's a gift, so we appreciate it.
No, thank you guys so much. Looking forward to connecting with you guys in the future.
Nice,
for sure. Yo, have a great one. Remember, effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.